Inside at last.
Welcome back, fellow Teffers, to Inside at Last, the one and only Thief dedicated podcast. And as announced, this week we will cover Thief 2 Mission 3. Please tell me the name, guys. Psychosis and Nex are here with me. Framed, right? Thanks. Sometimes I'm just like, what? I'm well prepared. So, how are you guys on this weekend?
Oh, very, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I think especially with this mission, I kind of, shipping and receiving is not a bad mission, but I do prefer Framed over it. Though there are better ones. You'll hear me complain later.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I'm like ready to go. I love this mission too, so this will be a really good fun discussion.
Yeah, it's the first kind of serious mission.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a mission where we have to break into Shalesgate Station.
Scholzgate, right?
Scholzgate.
Is it Scholzgate? I think. Yes, it's Scholzgate. Or
Yes.
am I right? So is it SHOLS or yeah? So to the
It's
premise.
Scholzgate, yeah.
To the premise. So maybe Psychosis, you can explain because you just played it some hour ago, so you can maybe just explain what it's all about.
Remember correctly, I think it almost has like a similar premise to the previous mission, but you're actually on a job this time. I actually remember the briefing is the guy like knocks on Garrett's door and he's about to kill him, but then like he's like holding like a big bag of loot or whatever, like a big bag of like gold coins. And he's like, and like I remember the line from Garrett. He's like, and then something caught my attention.
Right.
You know? And I think he wants it to go into the Scholzgate station, which is like a big, police headquarters. Let's just say it in layman's terms. And I think he wants you to do the mission's namesake. He wants you to frame the sergeant, I think, correct?
Certain Lieutenant Hagen.
Yes, that's who it is.
With the H banner.
Yes. I think he wants you to, or whoever he represents, him or who he represents, wants you to go in there and frame them.
We don't know that at this time. He's anonymous, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
I don't know who's the guy that makes all the one-letter banners, but he must be a rich guy by this point. He's made so many.
There's the R for Ramirez. There's
I'm gonna
E for Befford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting because of this, back in the days, I think today they used their own textures, but back in the days, like most of the lords in the fan missions just had like names starting with R or B.
Yeah, just to make it easier to use the banners. Yeah,
right.
And the textures if they have the letter.
Didn't you hear about the Basso's one-letter tapestry? It's all the rage nowadays.
What are you talking about, actually?
He was making a joke, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm German, so I don't get it. Stop doing this. It's a serious matter here, right?
Yeah, we're breaking into a police station, opening the vault and then framing lieutenants and finding out about Sheriff Truitt for well, not for the first time, but well, now we're in his office and it's much more intimate.
Yeah, I think this is where the plot thickens, which is actually a FM as well. So yeah, so you get it's still like just a general introduction. Like at this time, nothing with the main story has already really started for Garrett.
Yeah,
you already heard, like as we said in the last mission 2 we covered, like you were just given hints, and of course people tell you, and that's what they did great with the game, the environmental storytelling, that something's going on in the city. And in this mission they put it into another scenario to bring you closer to this. And I think yeah, and you start just pretty right in front of the building, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And you
And
have
if-
to find a way inside.
And when you see that gate, that metal wall, and the gate and the watcher on there, it's quite intimidating.
And the
And-
2 turrets. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I suppose when you play this mission for the first time, you realize
You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
was
don't
killed
know.
immediately.
See, you walk up to the bridge and you hear like the
Because as I said in the last episode, that back at this time I didn't find the watcher in shipping and receiving because I couldn't make it so far at that time.
Yeah.
Or I just grabbed the basic and easiest loot, and so I didn't know how this thing reacts to me. So I just went there, and it gives you like, it doesn't take many seconds so that you realize, okay, I'm effed now. But it was very interesting. I learned it the hard way, and then I was like, and now? Because that is actually something I was wondering, because of course, like the main thing they were working on was the inside of the police station, but the outside here is not just basic, it's actually kind of cheap.
Very cheap.
Yeah. it's
Like,
just
because
a
there
wall.
are like buildings they usually just use behind walls you can't access, like just as an environmental 3D buildings. I think they always look like toys, but they put them here, and that was always a bit strange. I don't know if they had to save some polygons there,
I'm
but
pretty sure the inside is quite detailed. They might have ran out of, well, either
Cell
time
count,
or
yeah.
cell
but
count
why?
is-
But why didn't they like put a wall there like they normally do? Like, why did they make this area accessible? Because you can go there behind the bar building, like, there's that inn where you can grab the favorites year
Right.
wine,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
and you can access it very easily. Why didn't they make it unaccessible? That was back in the days. I already thought that, like 2000. That's unusual decision they did there. But just wanted to mention, we will never find out. But then you have to enter to with the way Nex you don't like so much, right?
No, it's a big part of this mission. It's the entering the police station, because the usual way that we're presented at the start, and every one of us did at the start, is to go through the sewers. Is
Right.
that right? Or the sewers?
Yeah.
And we talked in the previous episodes how much I don't like getting wet, and then especially if I'm gonna go into a police station and I'm gonna stink of sewer, leaving wet marks everywhere. It's just not. I just don't like that way. And there are a couple of other ways of going. There's you can step on a let's say slow fall potion, which you can buy at the start, and mantle on the wall, which is right on the left. Well, many of you have seen the zombies dancing behind that wall. If you throw
Right. Yeah. With the
scouting
orb. Yeah. The
So-
little Easter egg.
So I would for a long period I would always go to the bar and then mantle up onto the wall, and then go to the through that wall and then to the left side of the police station, where you could jump on a couple of buildings and get into the inner behind the first wall from the left side. There's also a way to go to enter by climbing the buildings on the right side. You would climb the wall, then the fence, then jump on the building, and you can use the slow fall potion to kind of jump beyond that gate. But we play Garrett, not Mary Poppins, so I choose the other way. And later on, because I never watched speedruns in before 2 years ago, and then I saw that speedrunners are just jumping on the camera and jumping over that wall, and I found that interesting, and I felt maybe I don't have to use the invisibility potion. So if you kind of jump over the the wall on the right side, you can there's a certain machine that you can jump on and you can get it. So there are a couple of ways of getting into the police station, even if not all of them are well intended. But still,
Yeah.
I really like that fact.
I would say though that the sewer is probably the main like intended way.
I
Yeah.
think it's the only intended way.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
everything else would require the player to be like more skilled, you know,
Yeah, or like
or abusing mechanics.
abusing, right?
Correct.
So I think this is the basic way is like another tutorial thing to teach you. And because I found like there's one question I have and something I was wondering about what happened to me, because okay, normally you go through the sewers and then you come up in that little cave, you climb up,
Yeah.
and above you there is what is it called?
Pocket
A
of
well.
air.
A well, right? So which you can see later on the upper levels. But when I remembered right, when I played this back in the days, there was always a spider running in circles around in the cave.
There's a spider there.
I remember. I'm, but this time it wasn't. So, but I remember. I haven't played this mission for years, so maybe this was taken out by the New Dark or something.
Actually, now that I think about it, I also remember a spider there.
But it wasn't there this time.
No,
me.
it wasn't.
And I knew this mission because the spider always scared me when I was 13, 14, I don't know. And it wasn't there. And was like, hey, buddy, I'm back and I'm not scared anymore. But where are you? Maybe he's scared of me now. This was strange first thing. Then second thing is like you have now two ways you can go. I always went for the right way. And then you come up to a wall that is you can't open, like that's not froppable, but there's a torch that's not lit. So I think this is one of the most famous and reused secret switches later in fan missions.
The torch.
Yeah, the torch, and and the hook thing, like in Garrett's apartment. This is reused so many times as well.
Oh yeah.
But
so that every player, whenever he sees a hook, he goes and checks every one of them.
And the torch that's not lit is in like 90% of the cases is like a hidden switch.
Secret, yeah.
You're asking yourself, did I douse that torch, or is that a secret?
Right. So, but at this time it was totally new and it was great. It felt really great to use this torch, and then this wall opens, and then you come into a very, very interesting area, I think. But I wonder, because at this point, I was told the way before you enter the sewers, I was told how to lockpick. The red typical text that appears, tutorial texts are red in Thief.
Oh yeah, if you play, yeah.
And I wonder, like, isn't this a little bit late for that?
Yeah, I think you had lockpicks in shipping and receiving. Yeah, so like that's
and you use lockpicks a lot. Of course, you have them because, like, as we talked, like Nex uses the keyhole thing with the lockpicks, so you have to have them. And of course, you have them. You have to open crates. You have to open doors. Why did they choose to give you this little text tutorial at that moment? That is
maybe they just forgot.
Yeah, but it's so obvious. Like for playtesting, this is a red text, like "Hello, here I am," and they didn't change it. I can't imagine like why, except like no time. It's really strange, but I don't want to go nagging on that. But I just saw that. But then you come to a really interesting area. It's a prison.
Yeah,
and it's just small but very interesting. Next, I think here's your one question. You see a dead guy, right?
Yeah.
Hey, wait, I know who this guy is, right?
Oh no, that's the guy. Yeah, we spoke about this and we questioned, and I check now, and he's mentioned he's not the dead guy, but there's the guy that's the commonly used madman speech. You can find it in Roxburgh, first mission, and if you would go into the prison and you would find the furthermost prison, which is the only one that's not just, it's actually a door, it's not just a fence, and the guy is speaking some mad talk about killing people and well, he mentions a lot of things. As far as I found, he is Murderer Schmidt, and he's mentioned by Lieutenant Hagen, who ordered him to be locked in the solitary, which was fun because
at this moment, the programmers couldn't expect us to know this, right?
yeah.
Because this is in the entrance area where you usually would arrive if you take the right route, and so this is really strange. Like, is it because Garrett couldn't know at this time, or they should have made it like, okay, if he read something about him, it's triggered,
Yeah, but perhaps Schmidt is mentioned somewhere in the first game.
I don't know, but still, it's like the player couldn't know at that moment, I think.
Yeah, right.
No, definitely.
So that's a strange comment. So, or they made it because you're Garrett, but I think then it would like totally ruin the feeling that you are Garrett. Like he knows something you don't know.
Yeah, that's an immersion breaker right there. Definitely.
Like, that's really, really. That's a strange thing. So there's a lot of strange things happening at this mission right at the beginning. Then there's also the torturing scene you can overhear.
Oh,
I think that's a very iconic one. Next, you are always good at recalling this. What do they say?
I think it's you can do this to me. I'm a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
I think he says something like this.
Yeah.
And Chur doesn't really like veterans that much.
Yeah. And it's a woman.
Veterans. Yeah.
And that's one thing. It's a woman blue coat. So this is another thing. This is the first real introduction of the blue coats into the game, because in the first missions there are no blue coats. They are just normal guards.
Yeah.
Do you think that's Mosley torturing the guy?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She she wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think it's the same voice. Is it not? But
I think they just have that one woman voice, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Used for Mechanist woman, used for... I think they just did one woman voice.
And that's kind of like a neat thing, is in Thief 2 they actually had female guards, right?
Yes.
I think that was actually like a big thing with the Mechanists. We'll get into that later in other missions that the Hammerites didn't like, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they are they present like Christianity from the mid-age at that time. So and I think like the Mechanists, of course, but it totally makes sense. It's another thing that's great, because of course the Mechanists need many people very fast. So if you like
right.
You need, there are 50% of the people that are not allowed to join Hammerites. So hey, here, make it more appealing to them, and that's a clever choice. And I think they did it also to make it more appealing to maybe female players, because the world was just men, and the only females are weak.
We're like servants. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another thing, and I think that's the first time a woman in a tough position is introduced, actually, in this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like a woman is torturing a man in a mid-aged setting. That is pretty interesting. and it's a statement, right?
I guess.
I think maybe I put more into that, but than they actually were thinking of. But it's always like with art, you do the same. So
yeah. Well, did you guys ever find it weird that the that the patrols within the prison are the haunts.
Right. I was actually gonna say that in the prison, right? Like in the like it's like that red little, and like there's like the rocky little cells. There's like the haunt walking around, but I don't think you can interact with it. I don't think like it gets alerted to you.
It is not.
It's not like it
No.
doesn't. Yeah, I think and that scared the bejeebus out of me the first time I ever went in there and I saw the haunt. Because like Supremacy was saying with previous missions, like I was like, oh, I thought this wasn't supposed to be as scary as Thief 1, and then you just hear like the chain, of the haunt. I'm like, oh no, not again.
As if the people crying and moaning and speaking
Yeah.
about their terrible stories isn't enough to bring you into a terrible mood.
You totally brought this, like I was like 13, 14, and I
Yeah.
opened that because I was curious, and that was the first time I entered that. Like I entered this, and then you go to that little tunnel,
Mhm.
and then I just looked like around the corner, and the ghost was just facing me at that time. He was right there, and I just ran away and closed the door and never opened it for years.
Yeah.
Punished for your curiosity.
But it's actually I think it's always interesting to the lore because this place is very obvious. So the people that are working in this building must know about this. But those places are never mentioned, or it's like, yeah, it's just there. It has to happen. We can't go in there anymore. But also they seem to put prisoners in there pretty recently.
Right.
So are they okay with those ghosts? Is it like something?
I think maybe like the easiest answer is it just happened to appear when we were there, and like we noticed it. Maybe it only comes at night, and they don't enter that like area at night or something.
I like that.
That's interesting. Yes,
that's probably like the only explanation that would make sense. Yeah, because if they're going down there and putting prisoners in all the time, and they're just like, hey, ghost, like I don't think that would make sense.
Yeah.
Imagine being locked there.
Maybe he's an OG, an original ghost.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, back in the days, this was a job. He's like a ghost rapper,
Oh my god.
No, but back to topic. But I think this area, as I said, this is so small, but there are so many interesting things if you look for the details that are going on.
Right.
I think if you are new to the game series, there's also like a situation perfectly describing Garrett's sarcasm or irony, like the dead body, and where he grabs where you can grab the little bag of money, and he said like he won't need that anymore. That's like a bit of sarcasm, and that's typical Garrett.
Yeah.
And
I also sorry.
No, so go on.
I also felt it was an excellent level design because you're sort of guided. I always went right, but then ended up going left in the when I came from the water, and because this is the first serious mission, and at the start you're like, whoa man, third mission, and I'm already gonna be infiltrating the police station. Can you think of a more dangerous place?
Goal.
Yeah, and then when you and then you gather your courage, and then you go in, and the first two places that you visit are the prison cells and the morgue, and you're like, okay, second thoughts. You know what I mean?
I think actually, when you say like you actually really described this like you entering the police station. This was hard. My heart rate was going up, but also they gave you, no matter on what difficulty level you are, it just changed the number, but you are only allowed to knock out a specific amount of guards, which totally didn't suit my playing style.
I know. I remember playing it on expert, and you're not allowed to knock out anyone or kill anyone. Killing anyone makes sense, but like not knocking out anyone was like so annoying. Because like you said, like I just me and you kind of like not love knocking people out. You know, it makes the mission so much
Oh,
easier.
So since I'm the non-knocking guy,
yeah,
I'll tell you I don't like this objective here either, because there are two paths of going upstairs to the vault, right? There's the obvious one, and then there's the secret one. And of course, the obvious one is well guarded, and you don't want to go there. So it's even messier than what I'm going to explain. And the other one is the secret one, but you have to go to you have to get past one guard, and there's
Yeah.
no other way of getting past that guard than to, crouch in the hallway in darkness. You also have to douse the torch, and then you crouch in the darkness, and the guard walks past you. And to me, it's like, why in the hell there's reflected light? There's no way, unless it's pitch dark, that he's not going to spot you. So I always felt, even though I'm trying to ghost the mission, my immersion is immediately broken, because what I would do is, even if I try to be as quiet as possible, was to knock that guy out, because it's the only route. In that case,
Yeah, it's the only hallway to that room. Right.
Yeah. And so here's my opinion. I don't like those kinds of objectives anymore. I mean, if you don't want to knock out anyone, it's completely up to you. But to be forced into it, it's a little bit sketchy.
That's when the line is drawn.
I think for this one time, and I can excuse it, because
Really?
yes,
it makes sense story-wise.
But does it
story-wise
really?
once, and it's like still like a tutorial thing. Like maybe they just want to show you, like, hey, look, there's
Okay.
it's possible to not alert everyone or to not knock out everyone.
Oh, as a sort of an introduction of a playstyle.
Yes, and but it happens just, I think, that one time, or does it happen later in missions? I don't.
Casing the Joint has something similar-ish, but I think it's worse that you can't make an alert at all.
Oh,
Yeah. But they
that's
introduced the
bad.
alarm to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the mechanist alarm. Yes.
So this is like still teaching you. I think this is still a teaching mission. That's why I think it's more. There's way more to talk about later when we talk about original missions. We will sometimes like talk about several missions that are in a row, because they're just that short or not that interesting.
Yeah.
And I think we will go that after this actually. But here is still a lot of teaching you, and I think in this case I can excuse it, because they still give you the option to knock out like guards that maybe make it really hard for you, especially in the office area where you are at Hagen's office and Mosley's office. That one guy that always lights the torch again, he annoys me. And I always knock him out. So I'm thankful that they give me the option on normal level.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay. And many areas are not guarded. Like the big office, like with that little partials.
Yeah, the sort of like where there's a bunch of offices together, where you can find the kick me note.
Right, that, and where you can go up through the chimney, right? From Truart, was it that?
Yeah, the train. Yeah.
Or is it? No, you're right. That's that. You enter the library, right? The through that tunnel at the
at the kick me note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great note? Does it not completely immerse you?
Believable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it shows their humor, because they had a lot of humor. Benny, yes. So where's my little note? There are a lot of interesting things. There's one thing that South mentioned in our first episode, that in this mission, the lady from that was owning Genevieve,
Lady Rumford.
Lady Rumford, yes. Right? She is talking to an officer there and telling the story that she is missing. That is such an amazing moment when you see it the first time, like the connectivity,
Yeah.
over missions.
And then
You
there.
get
and
the
then- Go on. Sorry.
you get the grin on your face. I did that.
Yeah, right. Totally. And
And what I was gonna say is that then there's the other connection later on, but this one's like more subtle, and obviously you won't know it at the time. Is the Lady Van Vernon,
Hmm.
the
yes,
for the infamous Life of the Party shouting match,
Yeah.
you know, and you see like the seeds that planted there for that sort of in this readable about what she's up to,
The adulteress.
the adulteress, you know.
And I love those readables. You find those readables in the secure records room, which would be
Yes.
like sort of the detectives, let's say, storage for their information. And
Mhm.
every one that they have listed up there has like, okay, so this is happening with Lady Von Vernon, but maybe we should be like easy because we can use her to get better prices for armor and
You're
there's
right,
another
because her husband's the like the
owns a lot of
weaponsmith or
factory.
something, right? Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
And there's this other guy, I think it's Rammstein, and he could be a lead into a bigger crime organization or something like that. But they're using their information to well, in these two cases, they're using their information to do their job, which is to fight crime. And then you can't fight crime if you don't have armor or weapons, and you can't fight crime unless you have a few informants, I suppose. But on a couple occasions and a couple of readables, you can see that this should be fairly obvious anyway, that this police station is a little bit crooked.
Crooked.
Not
Yeah.
not just Chewart and his new age, but also the wardens, the warden
What-
affair division.
what I think they used this mission for, and I think they did an excellent job. Like, there is so much coming into one place. This police station gives you an amazing feeling for the city. Even if it's just that building, but
Yeah.
there is so
Yeah.
much going on in the notes, in the conversations, in so many ways that you get it suddenly. This is the mission that tells you what is going on in the city. You just had that little hints in the first mission, just one note, and in the second mission there is a lot of people talking about it, but here you get some answers, like what is going on in behind this.
Yeah.
And that's like open, and that's totally uh, invests you in this whole thing, and this is done so amazingly. And I think I can imagine, like, when they were working on the game, like, okay, we need a mission for this and we need a mission for that, and they did it in a real natural way, because, like, when I just think of like Mosley's diary, there is mentioned so much. It gives you so much answers about this. Like, one thing mentioned, like, the war will be over soon, and the Baron will be back. This is something like, there is a Baron, because we wondered about that in the first episode.
Yeah, it opens the world a little bit, even though usually it doesn't want to open too much. It just kind of keeps you in the inner affairs of the city. But yeah, this one mention of the Baron, I found it was I found it interesting.
And it makes totally sense, because, like, now I can understand why there are so many lords that are doing all those shady things and are fighting for their power.
Yeah.
Because if the Baron, that I think he's above them, he's not there. And that's a typical story that happened, like, in reality, like back in the mid-age, when, like, the highest person of a city or an area was in the war, the king. Behind its back, the barons or the lords did, like, some things to empower themselves.
Yeah.
And
Much more shady.
this little note just gives you many answers.
That's right.
And also, it makes you wonder: was the war already going on in the first game? And like, it's very
You kind of
interesting.
you kind of want to know more about.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think there are a lot of questions answered. But of course, since this is not the ending of the series, there's also a lot of questions that are raised, like why is Mosley protecting the pagans, which clearly from the
Right.
readables she
Yeah.
is, and why is Cheward dead set on? Because one of the readables says that Cheward now cleared the city of its criminal element, and now is now focusing on paganism, and paganism is now by Cheward outlawed, and anybody actually in the corpse in the morgue, I think cause of death is paganism.
Yeah, maybe. I think something like that. But that's what they do. They satisfy your questions in one
Yes.
way,
But then give
they-
you more.
yeah, those questions are more important for the main story.
Yes.
Right.
Like the first of all is like all the questions you have is like what's basically going on in the city. Of course, this is another thing. Like when we said with the Garrett knowing about the person, oh, I know who this guy is. So Garrett should already know what's going on in the city. So it's just the player that doesn't know, which is like still not working right with you being Garrett. But anyways, they do this now. They answer most of your question. Okay, that's going on in the city, but what is going on now? So it's like the needs. The pyramid with the needs, like by Maslow. Like if like basic things like food and sleep and are fulfilled, you have up higher needs, and I think it's working like that. Now the basic is settled. Now that was my basic question: what is going on in the city? Now I know, and now I have time to get involved into a deeper story.
Good
That's
point. Yeah.
brilliant.
I think that's a nice observation. Yeah, and
Thank you.
And I feel like with all these crooked and shady things going on, I felt like there were a few too many secret entrances for a police for a
Right. It
not
felt like a
crooked police
little.
station.
Yeah, it felt a little off-putting.
It seems like everybody's going out the back door.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the one in the one that you touched on earlier to get to the third floor. I think you had to cut a banner, right, to get a hole in a wall. I think that's what it was. Am I wrong?
Oh,
Was
sorry,
it-
which
Was
mission?
it in the training area?
No, in mission you were talking about to get to the third floor, the
Oh, yeah,
secret
yeah.
way, the banner.
The
Was it
banner
the
opens.
banner?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think I don't know if you cut it or if you is there a switch or something?
Yeah,
That's what I was
it's
asking.
like a door.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, that doesn't really make sense why that's there. To me, at
Yeah.
least, it didn't really make sense. It's like, why is there a, this banner opens and there's just a chute to the third floor? But I guess for gameplay reasons, they kind of realized, the only way up there was that one staircase that's guarded and like in broad daylight. So, you got to sacrifice some things for gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
as I always say.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a video game, so
Yeah.
you try to make it fun to play, not
I
hard.
mean, to me, it feels completely okay, because when you have the warden affairs, which you can see it's crooked, and there's
Right.
Cheward who's protecting the wardens. I think that has good depth to it, and when there was a mention in Cheward's notes that lately the vault is being has been broken into a couple of times, and then you come into warden affairs, which are suspected by Hagen of doing suspicious activities, and they're saying, well, who is it if it's not us? So within the police station they don't know who the culprit is, and it's so crooked they don't even They don't even have it organized.
It's like funny that they're like, if it's not us, who is it? You know, like
Yeah.
like as if they already expected that they would do something like that.
What I found very interesting about Truart in this, that at this point he seems like a pretty nice person, because maybe other people in his position, when they feel like, oh, Mosley is not working as good as she's done earlier, that's it, I'm done. But he's like giving her a chance,
Yeah.
So this gives you an idea, and of course later you find out what he's really like. That this for me, it always felt like that oh, he must be not such a bad guy, so maybe he's just into something, he happened to step into something he didn't want to step into, or because you already feel like, okay, something's not right, he's involved into something.
Yeah, I feel like his heart's in the right place. I feel like he genuinely wants to clean up the streets, which obviously is bad for you, the player, because you're Garrett, the thief.
But then at the point where you find out where he delivers this persons, which is some missions later, or one mission later, right? And then how he reacts to that, what Karras shows him, it's like,
right,
okay, he's amazed by that actually. So he's really a bastard,
Yeah.
But like as far as he's just a goody two shoes. Like at this moment in frames,
yes,
he's just a goody two shoes. I'm gonna clean the streets type of warden or whatever he is, the sheriff.
But and still here in this mission there are like some people mentioning like, whoa, that's really hard, that's really too hard. Like, so one guard is I think saying something like that, it's how they treat them, where should they go, like, and then you just take them from the streets because of they don't have anywhere to go. That's their crime. And I think another guard is saying like, yeah, if they are all gone, what crimes should we solve in the future? That's really great atmospheric thing. Like, people have doubts about what's going on, and that's really amazing. And that they show that even the average person, and the guard is an average person, it's just his job. He's like doubting things, like, but he is not in a position to tell anyone. That's really, really well done.
Yeah, even Lieutenant Hagen appears not to know anything bad about Truart, as clearly the Warden affairs do. They even mention
he's just a blind, loyal dick.
Yeah, like a king's hound or something.
Yeah, he's like that. He would do anything that is asked from him, as long as he keeps his good position.
Yeah.
And Mosley is like strange. She seems to have some affairs with natural things, and it's like, as I said, like the basic questions are answered, and now it's going on. Like, there's some deeper thing going on, and you will cover this really fast. Next, you had like many points, like
speaking of questions answered, do you know when we were talking in Seven Sisters, what's the name of that brothel owner in Shadows of the Metal Age?
Yeah, you mean Thief 2X, right? Yes.
Yeah. So she's not something that was. She already exists in the universe, and it's mentioned in this mission.
Yes, I found that out too. This is something I have on my notes.
And her name is, let me find it out.
Valerie.
Valeris.
Valerie?
I think it's Valeris. Valeris, yeah.
Madam V, let's call it that.
In Shadows of the Metal Age, they actually pronounce the name. And I think it's Valeris. But it's been some time. Let's go with. So the Lady V, runs the brothel. where he's. I love that they, the creators of the Shadows of the Metal Age, took Lady Volaris, and they used Truard's fake name, which we found out in the
Norman Druid.
Norman Druid, yeah, which we found
Which
out in
is
the
so
second mission.
stupid.
Yeah, what a cover! I bet he puts on a fake mustache too.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, it's not me
And
anymore.
nose, right?
I mean, he's as secretive as the Superman.
No, actually, Superman's name doesn't rhyme, and just shaped like it would like be if he wouldn't be named Superman, he would name himself as a superhero like Bark Bent or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's even worse than Batman.
What? Nothing. What?
So oh no, Superman. Shit.
I thought you wanted
How
to say
dare you.
anything bad about Batman. So,
Forgive me.
so what else? Is there anything else like about the
yeah.
lore? Because we are just into that, like the connectivity to all the things in the city going on.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the wardens. The Warden Affairs Division is the crooked division within the Shoalsgate Station. But who are wardens? We have seen mention of them in what's the Mission X part of? What's the series called?
Mission X. The fan mission, you mean?
The fan mission, Mission X.
You mean Circle of Shadow and Stone?
That's correct. In Circle of Shadow. Yeah, in Kosa's series, we can hear more about wardens, perhaps even in.
Isn't Ramirez from the first game a warden? I thought he was a warden.
possible.
So what is a warden?
I think it's kind of like I guess like a mayor, but not really, but like a district of the city.
Oh,
think-
so
I
like there's
Like a lord almost.
Yeah, like of a certain quarter.
Yeah. So like old quarter, you know.
Okay.
I don't think it's as big as like a whole quarter. I think it's like actually half of it maybe. But I think there's like 10.
How many units is it?
How many units in drama? Yeah, I think but I think that's what they are. They're kind of like I guess again a mayor, but not really. I don't know the proper word.
Don't you have like in a big city in New York, as you live, you have I think mayors for the different parts of the city, right?
Yeah,
you have
for each borough.
You have a central mayor, like the big mayor, and then you have like because it's your Brooklyn, and it's like two or three cities in its own, you know.
Yeah, so I guess you could kind of liken it to that. You know, they just govern over like a small district of the city.
So I suppose that the city is altogether a bit crooked because in Kosa's series, I feel like not feel, but Dante, I think, which is the main character, the protagonist of the Kosa series, Dante is actually under, I don't know how you would say, supervision, or he is under some certain warden. So the warden would be like some of the wardens are crooked and they allow crime, and aren't certain thief organizations under wardens and.
Dude, I think you're asking the wrong guys at this moment because
That's the image that I got playing through all of that.
I never put so much thought into this. Now, as you say, I do, but I had the feeling that this is just mentioned in that mission, actually.
So I will. I just googled it. I will correct myself. Ramirez was not a warden of the police station type. He was a warden of crime. So, you know, that makes more sense now in retrospect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's not a actual warden of, you know, like the police force or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just correcting myself because I said he was a warden.
He's like, maybe it's like a minister.
Yeah, like I still think though what I was saying with it being kind of like a mayor was right.
But as you say, no, he was like for crime or what?
Yeah, crime lord. He's like a crime lord, pretty much. That's what Ramirez was.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, but I think as I said, like I think it's really just in that mission where this specific title is
Yeah.
like a thing, because I don't remember Wardens mentioned anywhere else in an important context.
Yeah. Anyway, did you guys
Yeah.
ever wonder who? Because I think that's never answered. Who is the guy, or which is the side that hired us to frame Lieutenant Hagen? Because we all know from the following mission that we are betrayed because of this job. Could it be
Truart.
by Truart?
Wasn't
Is
he
it?
the one who hired the assassins on you? I think, or was that Karis?
It might have been Truart. Might have been that. Well, maybe the Warden Affairs wanted to. Maybe something went wrong. Was the Hagen actually imprisoned after this?
Hmm.
I think this
Don't
never
know.
gets answered.
Maybe we will answer this while playing the following missions, or maybe we won't. But I do wonder, because the Warden divisions are being protected by Sheriff Truart, and the Warden divisions are suspected by Hagen. So, because Truart orders Hagen to stay away from Warden Affairs Division.
Right.
So, to me, it would be like maybe it's the pagans that want Hagen out of this because he's merciless, and perhaps it could be the Warden Affairs Division that want him to be,
Because there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
That is my
A lot
hint.
of money.
But I'm not sure, because it would make sense if like Mosley had to do something with it. But
that's also probable.
but
Yeah.
then later in the story, it wouldn't make sense, because if she doesn't want her hands being dirty, why should they? Yeah, I think we can say this already. Like, they planned to leave her key there, the murder of Truart,
Oh, I see.
and it was on purpose that they leave the Mosley key there.
So
And
I'm
and
more
so,
and more suspecting Warden Affairs Division.
yeah, so
Maybe. Sorry,
that's
I'm so sorry.
and no, that's really great, because this is like a brainer, like there's still things I haven't thought about so
Maybe
much.
maybe Truart's just a puppet for Warden Affairs Division. Maybe he's just the front man.
No, I don't think so. He's a puppet for Karis and doesn't realize.
Yeah, he thinks he's working with Karis, but really Karis is just using him for
Yeah.
bodies, pretty much.
Did you guys know that?
I think maybe even the creators didn't put so much thought into that.
we're breaking it apart part by part. Anyway, did you guys
Maybe
know
they
that...
just needed and that's why maybe they made the person who gave you the job like anonymous, because like they needed something to put you into this building, like to bring you there and to find out so many things and get involved into the story already. Maybe this is just an excuse, like
it's most likely the case, yeah. Because nothing connects really well, nothing is obvious even after you play the whole mission.
I have the feeling basically that they had this pretty amazing idea with the mechanists and the story, and how the people, the poor people and the criminals are, like, actually it has something like the Nazis did. It's like kind of similar. And I think they had this amazing idea. They didn't have a real start, and they also needed those introducing missions to the gameplay and everything, and to the story. So I think this anonymous character is just anonymous, and he didn't exist.
Yeah, I think I've read somewhere that for Thief 2, they made the maps first before actually writing down like the general story.
Oh, interesting.
Whereas in Thief 1 they had the story like all planned out, like what mission 1 was going to be, what mission 2. Like I think for Thief 2 they were like, all right, we want a bank mission, we want, a mission breaking into the police quarters, we want like a warehouse dock mission. Like I'm pretty sure they designed Thief 2 like with the levels first before the story. So you might be right that they just kind of used it, like they kept them anonymous just because they couldn't really find a connection there.
Yeah,
after the
but
fact.
actually, that's pretty strange because they made so many other great things, and I think it's not too hard because there are like two possibilities. Or we already found like two possible sites that could have done this, and they both
Right.
would totally make sense. So I won't, if this is the case, as we just said. Why didn't they use just one of them, the pagans or the wardens? I think the pagans would, from the importance for the story, would make more sense for choosing them. But no one would have said like this doesn't make no sense. Everyone would be like, yeah, that's, I can imagine that they would do something like that.
We're gonna divide the forums into a half that believes that the Warden Affair Division did it, and the other would be the pagan.
I think
supporters.
actually, until this day, no one cared about the warden so much as you did.
And I think after this day, it's gonna remain the same.
No, maybe not. Maybe it's like something. But as you see, like compared to the last mission, like now we have some story to talk about.
Yeah.
And there's so that it's getting interesting. But at the same point, as you said, Psycho, you feel that I can really believe they just built the missions first and then created the lore, and we will get to this in like not the next, but and I think in the 5th episode, you see that there are some missions created and there's not so much put into that.
Right.
And they repeat a lot.
That's true. But I find that this is plausible to me, and I don't think this is always bad that the let's say the architecture was built first before the story was, because once you're creating something, I think it's very easy to accommodate the architecture to make the architecture accommodate the story, and it's going to be based on the story. I don't think that's the right way, because I feel in many cases in Thief 2, the places seem logical and not that story driven. You know what I mean? They do feel like they are it's actually a warehouse. It's actually a police station with a let's say semi normal layout.
I actually like the idea more, because like if you have to use this, your imagination already has like certain points where it has to go, like locations, and then you can create the story around this, and that's totally fine. And that's what you said, Psychosis, in the last episode when we were talking about the speed run, but we got sidetracked once. And you said, like, if Thief 2 is amazing, it's really amazing. But if it's bad, it's really bad. And that's what you see. That like, there are like iconic missions you will never forget. Like, especially I think like
Life of the Party.
Life of the Party, the bank mission, of course, and I think the Truard mission as well. For me personally, but other missions like the missions between this we are talking right now, mission 3, and everything that happens in between until you meet Truard or want to meet Truard, it's like feels a bit off.
Right.
Because for the next mission is the one where you have to listen to the conversation, right? Right.
No, and that's eavesdropping. That's after ambush. Next mission is ambush, the one where you're at the bar and you have to get back to the apartment.
The best mission ever, you mean?
No. No.
We're gonna disagree so much next time.
But like eavesdropping, I think they have a pretty amazing building, but they didn't use it.
They didn't.
Just as an example, this idea for the conversation, this is a pretty cool goal and adds a lot to the atmosphere. Like you really listen to this conversation. They could have done it like, I was listening, Garrett just telling like in the briefing style, or reading a letter, but they did this, and this is amazing. Like you don't see the characters, but you just hear them, and you get an impression just from the audio of them. But the whole layout of the mission, the whole cathedral thing or what it is, doesn't add to it. It could have been like a hotel where they meet. You could have done the same, almost, except the key thing. But
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, so
I think they
this is
do much
think-
better with the police station.
I wanted to come after we talked about the lore thing. I actually wanted to ask you what you think of the level design in this mission. But to make one point, like I think what would be cool, like if we are done with all the missions for Thief 2, I think we should have like a summon to our what we felt like replaying
Summarize?
the game. Summarize, sorry. Yeah, thanks. Summarize episode, like where we bring everything together and what was great, what was not so great, and there's a lot to talk about. So, but is there any lore thing or anything we need to cover for you, in your opinion, about the lore or anything else?
I think we went through most of the things. I only have perhaps one question, which of course we won't be able to answer, but maybe somebody knows. Gorman Truard is quite a secretive guy, and even when he meets with people, most of the time he'll just write down their initials. There are 3 people that he met with the day that we entered the police station, and their initials are LK, LZ, LR, and I wonder who these people are. We'll see at the end of the campaign if. But yeah, I was thinking the same. Are these lieutenants?
Lieutenant?
It does make sense that these all would be lieutenants, so there would be no answer.
Lady?
Maybe lady, yeah. Maybe LR is Lady
Lady Ramirez? What was the other?
LK and LZ.
Lady Karras?
Lady Kara. Maybe could be lords as well.
Or Lord, yes, Lord. Yeah, Lord Ramirez.
Yeah.
Is there a Lord
yeah.
K in the main story?
I
In
don't
the-
I don't
think, right?
think so. No.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, so much for the lore.
But yeah,
So-
It's a good
yeah,
one in this mission.
Yeah, you brought up the level design. That's like my main thing with Thief is I love when there's a good layout to the mission. And I would say the mission as a whole has a pretty good like flow to it, right? Like there's I always love going up the staircase with the drunk guard. Right? I think on Expert actually he's not drunk, which actually adds a little bit of difficulty. But how the rooms intertwine and how you get from point A to point B. And next you kind of brought it up that secret passage behind the banner again.
Mhm.
It's only one way to that room, and there's a guard patrolling it, so that's like really annoying. But the 3rd floor is probably the most let down to me. You work your way up to the vault. On the 3rd floor, you get the code for it, and then it's just permanently
shelves and
dark.
tables.
Yeah, that's it. It's just it's like as I said in shipping and receiving, the rooms are just empty. Like it's a square room with like maybe a table and like maybe a bookshelf. Like that's it.
That's the feeling I had throughout the game and in
Yeah.
many missions. Like, it feels like they started building the level from the way you would access it.
Yeah.
Like building A in mission 2 is way more detailed than building B.
Right.
Like as you mentioned, the offices there and everything is like it just feels like a bit rushed. And here I have the same feeling. Like the the basic levels, especially where you enter, like as we said at the beginning of this episode, like there's so much going on, there's just such a little place. It's basically there's 2 rooms and a hallway, but there's so much going on. And then you go up, and this is nice. I think the offices parts of the lieutenants is nice as well.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like the last part, that it seems like, okay, we need an area that leads to the vault. So what do? We put like shelves everywhere and tables that can be rooms that are as big as a room. And I was wondering, like, what are they doing here? Why do they need such? Do they make like I don't know if they like a detective work here, so they need all this space. This was the only explanation I had for this.
Well, for the lack of for the cases and shelves, and there's a lot of crates there as well. There, perhaps for the lack of guards, might speak that one of the guards in the 3rd floor was fired by Stewart because of all the break-ins into the vault. But that does not explain the shelves, tables, and crates.
Yeah, that was my only explanation. Like, okay, here they do their detective work, so they need big tables to put all the documents and everything they have on one big table to connect it, like,
Yeah.
but that was I think it was just like for being there, because this room's dark and ugly.
Yeah, that was the main thing I was gonna say too. Is like there's just no light, so like everything's pitch black.
And why? Because this is like a high security area. And they are complaining like, oh, someone broke into the vault recently. Like, oh yeah, just put one guard there and a mechanical eye that like makes
is
totally
in a dark
no
room.
Yeah.
The mechanical eye is in a dark
sense.
room, so you could just walk right under it and not have it see you.
Yeah. It's funny that the safest place in that police station.
But the room
is
with the
third
mechanical
floor.
eye is
It's the 3rd floor. Yeah.
not dark with the mechanical eye. That's, I think, the only flare around there.
It's a torch, yeah.
Oh yeah, if you put it
one
out, I
torch.
think it becomes pitch black. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
but
cakewalk.
it's basically it's a really disappointing area, because like you expect like, oh, this will be like, it's a police station. What the fuck? And the vault.
But I never minded it for one reason, and that's because I felt like, did it ever happen to you that you started playing this mission, you kind of went in, and then you were like, okay, I need the key for I need the code for the vault, and I would immediately run into the secure records hall, just to realize, and this happened to me like 5 times. I'm a bad learner. I realized that, oh shit, it's locked. I need the key, and then you had to go through the 1st floor, back to the 2nd floor, get the key, and then you had to go back to the records hall, and then you had to go back to the 2nd floor so that you could go to the vault. And then it happened to me sometimes that I would forget the handkerchief, and then I'd have to go back to the 2nd floor, and then back to the vault. And once you do the vault, you have to again go into the Hagen's office. And I felt like, even if I didn't forget a lot of things, I would have to go twice into the 2nd floor, which is, intensely secured. There are 3 patrols there that can easily spot you, especially if you don't want to douse too many torches. So, yeah.
I think this was annoying, especially when you were new to the mission and really didn't know what to do. I think it was pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff to do, and you need to grab things in a certain order. That's true. And I don't want to because I think like most of the mission of the design of the building is amazing.
Yeah.
Because everything, it makes so much sense. It really feels like a logical building. Like there's like a training area. There are these little offices on the upper floor. There are the bigger offices for the more important people. You have like a cafeteria and everything like that. It makes totally sense. So besides the upper floor, I think the rest is done really, really great. And what I like really, what I love is like all the secret ways. Like
Oh, yeah.
and what I also in like a tutorial thing, when Garrett gets the code for the vault, he says I should write that down. And this wasn't the situation when I first played Thief 2 that I realized, okay, I can write down things. I knew this already, but it's a nice way to tell you because you didn't need it before.
Yeah.
So so in general, they did a great job. So but it's sad that you see like, okay, at the end, sometimes they I can imagine like they had the building and then they made the story and then they said, oh yeah, let's use the police station now. And then maybe they implemented the vault later because they didn't think of a vault because from the story thing they went that far, you know?
Perhaps.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. And I do want to at least give them credit. I don't know if either of you have heard. You've probably heard of Thief 2 Gold, right? Like the kind of like how they did Thief Gold for Thief the Dark Project. They were gonna make one for Thief 2, and the files are online, and they were actually gonna touch up the third floor framed. So they even knew it was an issue that, you know, like they kind of left it barren and empty.
Yeah.
And they were gonna add like some more lights and some more, you know, furniture and stuff.
That's new
So-
to me.
Yeah,
To me as well, yes.
Really, neither of you have heard of Thief 2 Gold. That's interesting.
We never. What is Thief?
What is Thief?
No, but please tell us what is Thief Gold? Thief 2
Thief-
Gold.
Thief 2 Gold was basically like Thief Gold for the Dark Project. It's just gonna be
Yeah,
it was
that
gonna
makes
have a
sense.
couple
But
more
what,
missions.
but-
There was gonna be like a mission where you raid like a town, like a square, or squares being raided by Truart and his men. There was gonna be there was actually gonna be a mission where you go to like a necromancer's tower to get like an item. There was gonna be a mission where like you explore an old like Hammerite temple that's like downrotten and has haunts and everything, and you were gonna learn. It was gonna be where Karis learned his craft, I think, like where he became a brother. So, you know, unfortunately, they ran out of money at the end and they went bankrupt, so they couldn't do it. But one of them uploaded the files online for the ones that they did touch, at least. And
So,
one of them
there-
was framed. So
and it was touched, so I can actually see the changed map.
yeah, if you, I could send you it later, and I assume for the podcast we can also link it for anyone interested.
yeah, of
But-
course.
Yeah, like you know, a couple of the missions are online. Some of them are almost even sort of done.
But are they
But
playable?
not too much. No. But like they have like an objective out of the 3, like complete. Like they just ran out of time and money, and they just went underneath.
Are there
Unfortunately,
any
yeah.
new readables?
I don't
Ah.
know. I'm surprised you guys didn't know about this Thief 2 Gold. It's like
I think
a well-known
I read
thing.
about it, but not in detail. I think I
Like
read
the,
about it somewhere, but
like the level designer Emil. I always mess up his name. The guy who made whatchamacallit, The Life of the Party. Emil. I don't want to butcher his last name. Emil P. Something P. He like sold his journal online
maybe
for
Pruitt.
eBay. Pruitt, yeah. Yeah. He sold his journal that has like all the notes of like the missions they were gonna do and whatever. And
Yeah, there goes my sleep today.
someone posted the journal and like made scans of it online. It's on TTLG. You could find it if you Google it. But
Or yeah, cool.
yeah. But I was just gonna mention it as a side, like, yeah, they were gonna touch it up, you know. I thought you guys already knew, but apparently
Of course we did, but we just you know, we put ourselves in a possible listener's perspective.
Oh,
that they
right,
don't
yeah.
know, so we
Yeah,
act
yeah.
curious, like the speedrun thing. You know, I do speedruns myself. You know,
oh, you have the world record, yeah.
yeah, you know, but I was just acting curious, like how does it work? And you actually, I told you everything. I'm the guy. I don't tell you my name, but who never answers you. You know.
Oh wow. Damn it.
So yeah, no problem. But thanks for bringing it up.
on a completely unrelated matter, can we stop now? I have something else to do. I'm kidding. I just have to check. I have to check Thief 2 Gold.
No, I think
Immediately.
next you are like now really embarrassed because Psychosis made us two look really bad. You know.
I actually knew something over you guys. I can't believe it.
No,
you
that's
know?
not the problem. But like the way you acted, like what you said like 2 or 3 times, like you really didn't know about this. Like no, we don't. Really, you really didn't know about this. No, we didn't. But really,
You two are not keepers.
You two
You're-
aren't true Thief fans like me. No.
You're only but commoners.
Yeah.
Taffers. That's what I call
Taffers.
us. So Taffet.
But awesome. This.
Oh, I wonder who will join us in the next podcast.
Well, since you're blowing my mind already, Kosa, I have a question for you that's related to this redundant backtracking that I don't like. So I like I said, I always run to the secure records hall, where of course you need the vault key to enter them.
Right.
It would really make my life better if I could break through that wall, through that door somehow.
can.
Not by explosions. You can.
Break through it, like as in clip through it. You can, if that's
Yeah.
what you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. How can I really?
Yeah, I'll show you later.
Oh.
Awesome. Okay.
But one thing, back to the design of the mission. I like all those secret areas. That's what I said. But I think those are, for me, the most memorable, because this is the first time in Thief 2, and this is like the first time I really enjoyed playing the Thief game, like where I felt comfortable exploring the mission, because like I said, like all those are not so well guarded. So where it's important to find maybe a secret, there's no guard. So you are free,
That's a very good point. Yeah,
Right.
it kind of
and
shows
that
the player that.
introduced me to the real like secret switches, secret walls that can go down, and you know, because if they made it different, you know, I think at this age, at that time, I wouldn't have realized this. But so
Yeah.
I was like aware of from that mission on, and I think the secret thing is like one of the most important things for the Thief gameplay. This introduced me really to it. Like I realized, okay, this is a real thing for the whole game.
Yeah, there are paths, like secret paths, that if you invest enough time and you check out nooks and crannies, you can find easier paths through what would otherwise be a well guarded section. I think that's a good point, and it does introduce.
The archer target in the training room, like where this I think it's the one that's the third one that is most distance between you and where you have that secret button in it, which doesn't make sense from like why should they put a button in there if they train there, you know, and every time someone hits it, then it opens the secret passage and closes it. But
is that different than an expert? Because an expert in practice room, you have to go in the back. There's a torch where you have to.
No, but there's that button thing, the way you hit the target in the middle, and there's a secret button when you hit it.
Huh.
I've never. Am I wrong? I no, but I remember it very, very well from back in the days.
Huh. I'm missing out something.
I
sorry.
can't remember.
Yes, I know. This is not
practice target.
Yeah, but there are actually two practice rooms.
Yeah, yes. There's the other one, the sword training room.
Yeah. You mean
But I mean the one, like I think.
Oh, the arrow one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The archer.
Yeah, I remember that room.
Yeah, and then there's a hidden switch in one of those. Yes.
Okay. It opens like a room with a lot of tools and weapons.
Well, now I know what I'm gonna do next time I play.
You didn't know that, actually?
Nope. Oh no, I didn't.
What kind of a thief you are? You paid him back.
I just look
Tables
it
have
up
turned.
at the chapel.
Yeah.
Mission 3, secrets and FAQ page. There, it has to be there.
Now, I'm pretty sure it is. But it's been so long
yeah,
since.
it is. It's the target to the right, the most the biggest distance.
I remember there was another target Easter egg. I think later on, was it in Masks? We had to shoot the bow into the target and then open up a secret, or it might have been Blackmail. Yeah, I didn't know it was on Framed as well.
But it's the same like in shipping and receiving with the picture where she says, "If you hit my eye" or something. It's the same mechanic.
Do you know how we talked about that shipping and receiving sort of started a trend in fan missions with its?
We did this some weeks ago, so I don't remember it so well. But
it's been a while. But just like when you mentioned earlier about the code hangers, which every player would then check.
Yeah.
It's like every time I would see that picture with that orb in any fan mission, I'm pretty sure everybody's shooting arrows into it.
I stopped doing this after a while, but but sometimes there is something, and this is another thing that annoys me about many fan missions. Like, there's always the same pictures. I will come to that in Endless Rain. Sorry, I'm wrong. I mentioned this in the last episode, Endless Rain.
I remember.
So, yes, you remember, right?
What a bunch of daffers.
So, I think we can come to an end now.
I agree.
So, because anything else next? A little more?
I've exhausted my questions.
Okay. And I will link the Thief 2 Gold link into the description and of course into the thread.
Which of course everybody already knows about.
Yeah, but
apparently.
But finally we found out officially. The last 2 guys on Earth found out. So that's what my mom was talking about. No. Now I get it. Okay, so yeah, thanks for listening. I think this was a very, very interesting way of looking at this mission. So
definitely.
Thanks to you, Teffers, and Pros, and thanks for listening. And see you next time. Bye bye.
See y'all.
Bye.
My favorite year.